When you're in a situation with a woman and she has a child with another man, you have to accept the fact that you are playing a position that you will never be first in. Even if it was a one night stand, there is a connection and a bond between those two people that you are never going to be able to break. You can fill in, and yes, a lot of times a woman has such an emotional attachment to her child's father that she invites a man to come in and give her room to breathe and give her the support, the emotional support she needs by you loving her to keep her from loving him or acting on that love for him. See, a lot of times you meet a woman who has a child by another man, and her and that man are still active intimately. And so when you come into the picture, you give her what she needs to not be drawn to that man in such a way that she can't resist. But there's always that attachment there. It's going to be there. If you think it's not going to be there, then you're kidding yourself. You're playing yourself weak. You're being a fool. Now, somebody sent me a video on IG, and I know you guys have seen this making the rounds. And there's this young guy who is rapping. I'm talking about rapping his ass off, dissing the father of this woman's child while she's sitting there egging him on and cheering him on. And he's making all of these threats and all of these things to this guy and bragging about stepping in and being what the woman needed him to be. And a lot of times, you know what that is? It's a man who's going to come and be a family with her, even though she might not even deserve that. See, a lot of times it's not that the woman doesn't want that man to be in his child's life. But many times a woman will make a decision that if you're not going to be with her, then you're not going to be with your child unless you're willing to go fight for it. Let's take a deep dive on this one. But first, let's elevate to a higher plane. Prepare for takeoff. Now, before we play this, I want to let you men know one thing. There's a lot of profanity in this, and so I'm going to edit out that profanity, but I will try to remember to leave a link down in the description and in the pinned comment so you guys can check it out and hear the full version of it, because it is quite the piece of content. But let's take a listen to this video, man, and we'll come back and chop it up on a real tip.
You didn't believe in me, dog, and that hurted my feelings. No crowd, I'ma show niggas. Yeah, I love my little daughter, her daddy a bitch nigga. Didn't want to step till I stepped in. Yeah, he a fuck nigga, so I call him FN. He gotta get hit with that FN. When I talk, I'ma talk with my chest. He a hoe, so that little nigga talk with his chest in. I don't like the bitch, so I'm bending to God, and this mic is that shit that I kept in.
Now, there's a couple of things wrong with this. The first thing is that how are you going to be a man who feels so proud to step in and take over another man's responsibility when you could very well just have your own child? See, my problem with the stepdad guy is that a lot of times these guys don't even have their own child. So you're going to step in and step up and interfere with another man's ability to easily take care of his child, to easily be in his child's life. Because if you're a man, any real man is not going to go into a situation where he's going to have to compete with an outside man to be a father to his child. If your woman and you split up and she gets with another man and they are cohabitating, whether they're in a legal marriage or just a common law marriage, if they're in that situation, then you as a man have to fall back some. The woman may try to ride you and tell you that that's not a thing you can do. That's still your child. That's still such and such. Okay, and I'll provide financially. But all of that extra stuff, especially when they're really, really young, all of that extra stuff, and you can look at these people and tell they're young, so I can guarantee you this child is young. So he's stepping in and he's going to tell this man, that's not your daughter. That's my daughter. Bro, how you going to come in and live in a fantasy world that a broad and put in your mind? Any man who says, well, that's not really your child, that's my child, that man living in a fantasy world. Because deep down in his mind and deep down in his spirit, he knows that's not his child. Especially if he has his own children already. See, you can tell yourself what you want to tell yourself. But when you start telling yourself things that are illogical and don't make sense, then you know that this is the idea that your woman has put in your head, man. It doesn't take much for a woman to manipulate you into believing what she wants you to believe, especially once you develop feelings for the broad. Now, here's the thing. All you stepdads out there, I'm not even knocking you for that position, but I want you to be in that position because you want to be in that position and you understand what that position entails. Don't be a stepdad telling yourself you the real dad. Don't be a stepdad telling yourself that you can just eliminate the real dad. You can't. You can't eliminate him because all he has to do is press the issue and he has the legal right to be there. And you can't even adopt his child without him giving up the rights for it. You can't take over the rights to a man's child unless he gives up the rights. And my issue is, why not just have your own child? Why fight a man for his child? Why go to war with a man over his own seed? Are you impotent? Are you sterile? Do you like women? What is the reason that you can't go and have your own child as opposed to interfering in this man's life and then coming on bragging about it? This is not a strong statement. This is not a strong statement. This man needs some guidance. He needs a strong man in his life to sit him down and give him some logical reasoning capacity. But I fear it may be too late for a certain generation of men among us. They are so influenced by their mothers and the other women around them. And then when they influence one another, that influence is coming from their mothers and the other women around them. So you have a bunch of over emotional guys that will go to war with you over your own child or blast you over stepping on a pair of cheap shoes that didn't take but $5 to make or any other type of thing that they might do. These guys are overly emotional. And the problem with being overly emotional in a relationship with a woman is that she can and will manipulate you under those circumstances. There is no question. So if you're an overly emotional man and you're in a relationship with a woman, prepare to be manipulated. Prepare to be put in a mind state that is the mind state of a woman. Pretty much prepare to be a woman in a man's body, because that's what you're going to be. All of your ideology, all of your outlooks, all of your ideas, all of your tears and fears, everything that you stand for is going to be based on femininity. Because the most terrible thing about this is that if that's the state of mind you're in as a man, if that's the state of being you're in, then you are at a woman's mercy. Because a woman will be your emotional god if you are an overly emotional man. The same way you want to buy your mama a house when you get some money, you want to buy another kid mama a house when you get some money. You want to step in and rescue somebody and save somebody because you've been raised to save women. Well, where's your cape? Where's the S on your chest? And every woman in the world can wait for you to come. Dun, 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 super simp. And this is not a knock on you, young brothers. This is tough love, man. I don't want to see you get caught up in a situation like this, because here's the problem with this situation. You're happy as you are right now. You're bragging about it. You're doing all this. But as soon as you and this woman fall out and she moves on, you're out of that child's life. You're no longer part of that child's life because it was never your child to begin with. That child's life was never yours to be in. And the very moment y'all split up, she can take that child anywhere she wants to. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't even go to court and put up no fight. You have no rights in a situation where you're a stepdad unless you're in a situation where you can adopt a child. And then I say again, why not just have your own? It makes no sense. I can deal with a woman with a child, but I ain't finna be no stepdad. I can interact with a woman with a child. We can have a wonderful time, a wonderful relationship. But I am not going to embrace the role of some type of father to your child. It's just not a manly thing to do. And if you think I'm lying, look at all other species of animals on the planet. And I guarantee you can count the ones that would do such an egregious thing against manhood and masculinity on one hand, and you probably have a couple of fingers left. This is not a masculine mindset. And I don't care what man out here says it is. You can be tough. You can be gangster. You can be gutter. You can be whatever you want to be. But if this is your outlook on a situation like this, when it comes to dealing with these bras, you're a simp. And you need some guidance. So I just want you to know that the doors to the spaceship that will take you up to the alpha sphere and bring you face to face with the Don of the alpha sphere, the alpha Don data. And we'll sit down And we'll bring you up to speed on where you need to be as a man. Because I don't want to see this happen to you young brothers. Some of you old brothers too. I don't want to see this happen to y'all, man. I've seen too many scenarios where this happens. You waste 15, 20 years of your life, and then you and the woman split up and she take the children and she gone. And the real dad right back in their life. After you done raised them children, gave them the best years of your life, trying to be a father to some children that weren't yours. And then after the hard work is done, you and the woman split up, and the father, whose responsibility you took over, are back in the children's lives. Does that always happen? No. But it happens enough for men to be very wary about being in that scenario. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Sims claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Suckers claiming to be players, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Tricks acting like they max, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto.